What if Ken Walker had played in every game this season? What kind of season would we be looking at for Charbonnet? Would we still look at him as, well, yeah, he's a nice compliment, but Walker's the man, and Charbonnet's more this kind of back versus what Walker does? It feels like there was an opinion formed of Charbonnet as to what his limitations were and just his style versus K9. And then once you got to see him kind of game in, game out for a number of weeks, started changing your opinion on him.
On Charbs?
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely did. His feet look so quick. And I would say this, and we talked about this yesterday a little bit, how in the beginning, with K9, I was like, dude, just take the 3 yards. Don't try to be fancy. You don't have to bust a 15, 20-yarder every play. Then he started cutting it back, and he got better at it, and I was like, okay, you know what? Just go with it. And then now this year, and maybe it's because of the plays being called or the offensive line, whatever. I know everybody blames everything on the offensive line, but, I felt like, okay, just take the 3 yards, man.
Yeah.
You don't need to bust the 25-yarder. So I kind of went back and forth on that. And then in the meantime, so if there was of the big three on offense, which would be DK, him and Geno, if there was one guy that I think would, you would say, hey, I don't think he's going to be here long term, it would be K9. That would be, more so than Geno and DK. But K9 played in 12 games. Is that enough?
No.
Yeah, running backs, we always talk about running backs. Like
17 is probably not fair to expect.
Yeah.
Because that's more the rarity that your starting running back is playing all 17 games.
How many do you think he should miss? 2 or 3?
Yeah, can you give us 13, 14?
Yeah.
Can you give us 14? Is that a fair number? You missed 4 games? Or 3 games, excuse
yeah.
me.
Yeah. Eventually it'll be 4.
Yeah, it will.
I feel like that just kind of goes with it. Unless you're Frank Gore, who's just
or Derrick Henry is one of the outliers. It's just
he's over 30 and just
more often than not you're looking at you're seeing the Niners go through their whole arsenal of running backs, much like the Seahawks have done on multiple seasons.
Yeah.
So if he can get you 14 games, 14 games. Okay. You think there should be an open competition, though? Because we look at it, at least going into the season, Walker's your number one back. Your backup is Charbonnet. Yeah. Now going into next season, should that change?
Yeah, I do. I think so. And I think it should, like you said, be an open competition. He's a second rounder, too. And, I don't know, man. I just, having played the position I played, watching Charbonnet, to me, he's much more of a nightmare than Ken Walker. So, and I'm not discounting K9. I think he's good, and when he can stay healthy, and maybe that kind of blocking. But I felt like when that Arizona game, that's who Charbonnet can be if you get him. I didn't see a whole lot of that what they ran against Arizona, and I know a lot of it has to do with the front. But as far as the post and pole type of old school blocking, Charbonnet is just. He's awesome at that. Now, you can't do that on every single, play. There are certain defensive formations where it just doesn't lend itself to that. But I don't know, man. Sharps just looked faster to me, and he is huge, and he'll run you over. You look at Zach Charbonnet and Kenny Mack, I'd throw him in the conversation too. They didn't get a lot of carries, especially not Kenny McIntosh. What do you have? 31. He had 31 carries, but he averaged 5.5 yards per carry. And you look at Ken Walker, he's at 3.7, Charbonnet 4.2. And he got a significant amount. He got close to the same number of carries as K9 when you look at the end of the season. So yeah, I think I'm not like, K9's no good or anything. I think he's a great running back, and I think he's worth the second round pick, but I don't know if you need both, especially if you can have McIntosh be part of that 1-2 punch. And by the way, he was talking about Warren and Najee Harris there. We got a full dose of that last year, remember? They came in here and ran the hell out of the ball.
I feel like everybody did. It's hard to distinguish between which team did it better than the other. It felt like a full season onslaught. So, as far as the Seahawks go, though, I think we'd asked Turbin about, what would you do with Walker, in this offseason? And it seems to be a consensus. No, you let him play out that contract. You're not looking to extend him. And it does still feel like that position is devalued in the sense that they could look at, despite what Barkley and Henry and some of these guys have done this year, they still look at it and go, yeah, we don't need to pay this guy. We can go find somebody in the 5th round. We can find somebody in the 4th, 7th, whatever round.
Yeah.
And they could be as productive, or maybe they'll be more durable. They'll be more available. Maybe the upside, maybe the potential isn't quite as high. The ceiling isn't quite as high, but you're not going to have to deal with the, uncertainty of their availability. So I don't know. I'm not looking for them to, ship K9 out of here by any stretch, but I could very easily see them going, yeah, we're not signing an extension. We're gonna let him play it out, see how it goes, make a decision after the season's over. That seems like the smart way. And for his side, I bet that's probably what they would be expecting based on, I got hurt. I only played 12 games this year. I was hurt last year. This is a prove-it year for him, and maybe he comes out and has a huge year.
Yeah, a lot of times you get players that bet on themselves and they respond well. And I think he's a tenacious guy. He's always in shape. His lower half got a lot bigger. Like he's
big dude.
Strong, man.
Yeah, big, strong guy. So we'll see how that one goes.